All right, cool. And we're going to go ahead and watch.
It is a fact that shit posting and public opinion are now intermingled permanently, and it's not going anywhere. And that's just the way it is. I get all my news from memes, basically. That's how I get my news. Is that how you get your news? How would you even get the news if you weren't looking at memes? You'd watch a show? That's even more fucking retarded. We turn that off. It's a smart thermostat, so it's gonna take 15 minutes to figure out how that fucking thing works. It's very intuitive. I don't know why the Nest thermostat is taking you so long to learn and intuit. Okay, a toddler could figure this out. A toddler on an iPad.
Okay, get to it,
could figure
Mr.
out
Hyde.
how to use the
Get
Nest
to it, Mr. Hyde.
thermostat. That's Chris Lynch, by the way, Elon. Do not hire him, okay? He's leaving this job very soon. See, he's white. He's too lazy. Chris, you're so lazy and white. Well, yeah. You guys should have studied violin harder as kids.
Why does he have this, like, sorry, this is just like as someone just watching. Why is he filming this in like a theater aspect ratio? Like the big screen, ultra wide.
I swear to God, Vivek would have figured this out by now. I want to believe that Elon is one of the great men of our age and that he has what it takes to become a 21st century Andrew Carnegie. I think it's important to have great men to look up to. Trump, Joe Rogan, oh, there it goes. Elon, Tucker. And it's not necessarily important that our great men are perfect, but they're symbols of what we could be. I think if Ron Paul took steroids, he would be my number one. That would be my number one guy. You agree? Yeah. I would like to offer you an escape, an exit from this hole you've been digging. You are a beloved figure. Anytime you do anything remotely based, people lose it. Oh my God, he's based. Yo! He just said that woke liberals aren't cool. He's based. What does he say? Yeah, anytime you post an AI kitten in a MAGA hat, people lose their, he's based! He's fucking based, man. For the guy who's the free speech guy, and not only that, but the reasoning from first principles guy, the logical fallacy guy, the Reddit guy, good faith argue with everybody, you know, whatever. All that shit. Blanket banning groypers, taking away blue checks, changing the algorithm.
I think that, like, just, I haven't really been paying too much attention in the past couple of days. I mean, like, since the last time I streamed, because, you know, it's the holidays, it's the New Year's, I have a family, I have friends, I have a life, I go outside, I touch grass, I break my rib skiing, right? Like, I have other things going on in my life. So I haven't really paid too much attention to this MAGA civil war going on. Everybody's talking about it, you know. Everybody's talking about the MAGA civil war and how they're going against each other because the racist part of MAGA is attacking the like annoying tech bro MAGA people. How's it going, Michi Meow? But yeah, for the same reason that I don't care, like, I don't care that groypers are getting mass banned for the same reason that I don't care about leftists getting mass banned. That's because they're the ones that use that shit. They use that superpower of mass coordinating, what do you call them? Coordinated, like mass flaggings, right? How's it going, Roshan? So I don't really have that much sympathy for them. Like, in general, is it a good thing that people are getting banned because of political disagreements on a platform? No, I don't think so. I didn't like it when it was happening with Twitter under Jack, whatever his last name is. I didn't like it. I don't like it when Elon bans people for no fucking reason. I don't like that. But I also don't have that much fucking sympathy for people like Groypers. Number one, it's really hard to have sympathy for Groypers because of who they are as people. It's also really hard to have sympathy for Groypers when they take every opportunity in the world to mass flag people that go against them. If they think that someone on their side is going against them, they will organize mass flagging campaigns to ruin them, you know? So I don't really have that much sympathy for the Groypers or the leftists or anyone who gets mass flagged. You reap what you sow, as the saying goes, you know? Is he about to like defend Groypers in this video?
Rhythm of the site because 100 people ratioed you, because there's fucking 50,000 posts. They're all organic, by the way. This is not some Russian bot farm. It's not some nefarious behind the scenes, let's mess with Elon, we're gonna fuck with him. That's not what it is. It's you tapped into a moist critical. You tapped into a moist critical, and we're back to moist critical. Mainline concern for the American people. And you treated it in a way that was glib and dismissive. You just became a Republican 3 months ago, and you're talking about removing a big portion of regular people, root and stem. No. People fucking love you. They will forgive you. Nobody is trying to get you to become turbo base pilled, full Pat Buchanan immigration policy. People broadly understand that you are a San Francisco, tech, California, international immigrant. Well, if you want to be a regular tech guy, that's fine. You can do that. You can be Larry Ellison. You can go play on the boat. Nobody's going to give a fuck. Realize what you're fighting for. If you're going to be the tech king, if you've courted the MAGA base, you wanted these people on your side. They're ready to be on your side, but you have to fight not for Ben Shapiro's idea of the country of America, the notion of America as this collection of ideas. That's not what it is. It's America.
Wait, hold on. Got the bad guy from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Wait, hold on. I haven't seen League of Extraordinary Gentlemen since I was like 8 years old. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. What did the bad guy look like? Images. Oh, was it the fucking Dorian Gray dude? Dorian Gray was the bad guy, right? Open image in new tab. Oh, of course, he's the one that's fucking blurry. Cool. All right. Let me hear what he said right here. There's something that there is I'm trying to choose my words carefully. Because people get so riled up. The masked guy, I'm not even gonna lie, I do not remember any of the characters from A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen at all. But there is this talking point or thought or something like that, you know, that strongly correlates to like actual Nazi talking points. And when I say actual Nazi, I mean like a literal neo-Nazi is the one that started going around and using this argument with people, right? The America isn't an idea, it is a nation of people, right? When our founding fathers kind of explicitly said the exact opposite. People really, and I think that there's this inherent human drive that we kind of were on the right track for a while, to to push down, this kind of primal fear of others, right? Where in this like old understanding of the way that the world worked, right? Like if you look back at the Middle Ages, right, and the Renaissance, and basically I'm going to say pre 1800 because I am a historically illiterate fuck. Okay, so take everything in terms of the timeline here with a grain of salt. But nations were not the same as they are now, right? Like they didn't have like, these are the borders of England, and if you come in here, you need your passport, yada 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 yada. It was like a sphere of control, right? And the sphere of control, you really didn't have much of a way to control the entire world back then, right? So the conception of what a nation or a country or, you know, a kingdom or whatever the fuck back then largely came down to the people around you and shit like that. The idea of a country being based on, you know, something higher than the people within that nation inherently, I could be wrong here, all right? But I'm pretty sure the United States is the first one to do that. We didn't create a nation around a singular person that everyone worshipped as a king or a god or an emperor or something like that. The first and foremost ruling entity in the United States is the law, is the Constitution, and all the laws that derive therefrom. So, yeah, our country was founded on the ideas of what it means to like live in a country that gives you liberty, right? Our country is founded on ideas rather than the ethnicity of a person. The founding fathers, if they wrote how many I think there's like 80 or 90 Federalist Papers. Federalist Papers. How many were there? Series of 85 essays. They didn't talk about in the Constitution, in the Declaration of Independence, in any of our founding documents. They never once talk about what race you had to be to get into the United States, right? That just wasn't something that concerned them whatsoever. Now, there were probably a bunch of racist people in there that did not like black people as much as they liked white people. All right, we'll get all the qualifier statements out of the way so nobody's like, oh, Sondsol's super ignorant about, you know, race relations back in the 16 and 17 and 1800s. Like, obviously, they had slaves. Yeah, Sondsol, you ignorant. Yeah. But we did found this nation based off of some founding principles rather than, you know, founding ethnicities. Yeah, true, Sam. Fuck you, Sam made me lose my fucking train of thought. Fuck you, Sam. I was saying that we were founded on a bunch of ideas, not ethnicities. Oh, yeah, so there's like this Nazi talking point that like America is a nation of people, not a nation of ideas. But like, no, we kind of are a nation of ideas, and those ideas make us better than those countries that are like based off of, actually, I don't even know if there are any countries that are based strictly off of ethnicity. Well, I guess there might be Israel, but I don't know as much about Israel as other people, so I won't make a hard comment on that. But yeah, I don't like the idea, because one of the things that's so cool about America, and the thing that's so cool about being an American, is that you can be Chinese. You can be, all right? You can be Mexican. You can be Zimbabwean. Zimbabweese. How to refer to someone from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwean. All right. It doesn't matter if you're Zimbabwean. You can come to the United States and you can become an American if you, believe in the same ideals that we do. If you, swear your loyalty to the Constitution, to the United States, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, these are things that you can do, and it makes you an American, because what it means to be an American is to agree with the founding principles of this country. Beginning, middle, and end, right there. It doesn't matter if you, like, what the shade of your skin is, or what your accent is, or what your native language is. If you come to the United States and you become a citizen and you agree with our ideals, you are a American. Now, if he's going to say something contrary to that, then I'm probably going to disagree with the entire rest of the video. Andrew Davis says, George Washington had a speech where he states that every citizen ought to have as many guns as possible to defend against a tyrannical government. I looked into it wondering what the founding fathers thought as well. Is that what you were trying to say? I don't care if people have guns. Like, again, we've had this, I'm not going to get into the gun discussion here because every single stream turns into a bunch of people getting super upsetty spaghetti at me for talking about guns. All right. But I don't care if people have guns. All right. The founding principles of this country are about equality in the eyes of the law. Right. We've been working towards that for a long time. Right? There have been things that we did not perfectly deliver on, and things that we are still not perfectly delivering on, right? But equality under the law, loyalty to the Constitution. We have the rule of law, right? Not just like the laws are a bunch of rules, but the law is the ruler of the land. A person is not the ruler of the land. The president is not the ruler of the land. The president is still subservient to the Constitution. Right. And that's why I think that America is so cool. Why America is a better system than basically any other country on the face of the earth. Read H.R. 40 naturalization bill. I will put that in the tabs. H.R. 40 naturalization. We'll put that in the tabs, but I want to get through this video.
Base. You wanted these people on your side. They're ready to be on your side, but you have to fight not for Ben Shapiro's idea of the country of America, the notion of America as this collection of ideas. That's not what it is. It's Americans. That's who you have to fight for. If you're in America, doing business in America, you want to be the man in America, you have to fight for the American people. You're not fighting for a paragraph. You're not fighting for a set of ideas, man. It's the American people.
But the common tie between all of us, because even when even at the founding, now it might have predominantly been Anglo-Saxons, but there were Germans here, there were Irish here, there were French, like, in and around. All right, there were Spanish people in the New World. There was a lot of interplay between all of these things. But the thing for the people inside of the United States that kept everyone together, that bound us all together, was the Constitution. So if you want to talk about protecting Americans, it's anyone that is an American citizen or is trying to become an American citizen, subscribes to the American way of life, and agrees with our ideals.
Who need your help. That's fundamentally why I think people are pissed off here. And it's an easy fix. Just don't call them retards. Elon, have you met Chris? He's on Asmongold. He's streaming all the time. You should just check him out. He's playing these games and stuff. He's amazing what the kid does with video games. I can't believe it. People didn't suddenly have a flare-up of India hate. I've been monitoring the Indian hate.
No, I'm sorry. There has been a flare-up in Indian hate. I had never seen some of the slurs for Indians that I've seen in the past couple of weeks. Okay, not just the past couple of weeks, like the past year on Twitter. It's like actually fucking insane to me how much people fucking hate hate Indians. I thought that these were like mostly memes, but they are absolutely not mostly memes. They are mostly, people's true beliefs. It's actually fucking crazy to me how much people hate them. And I'm trying to think of a way to explain the hate that I've seen without breaking TOS on one of the two platforms I'm streaming to right now. It's like actually that fucking bad, dude. It's like actually fucking insane. But yeah.
Websites for a while. It's actually set to my homepage. I've been checking these websites out. I watch what these people do. There were very few overt Indian haters spewing their nonsensical filth everywhere 72 hours ago. What happened? Okay, 72 hours ago, most people in the MAGA base looked at Vivek Ramaswamy with some notion of admiration or, hey, that guy says cool stuff every once in a while. Hey, you know what? I think I like that guy. Now, he's got to be deported. Sucks, man. And he's not being deported because of the...
1 second. I have to turn off my Bluetooth and turn it back on. Something is fucked up. Something is super fucked up. It's irritating the fuck out of me. I can't hear what he's saying. Give me 1 second.
Everywhere 72 hours ago. What happened? Okay, 72 hours ago, most people in the MAGA base looked at Vivek Ramaswamy with some notion of admiration or, hey, that guy says cool stuff every once in a while. Hey, you know what? I think I like that guy. Now, he's got to be deported. Sucks, man. And he's not being deported because of the color of his skin. He's being deported for the content of his character. And I think that truly was a mask-off moment where we saw that Vivek Ramaswamy really is just a fucking nerd who needs to go back. I think that what you did is different. Deported because of the color of his skin. He's being deported.
Can't hear me. Sorry. Yeah, I was just saying, like, where I don't know about what his I didn't know where he was from. He's from Cincinnati. Where are we going to deport him back to? Ohio? Or are we deporting him back to Cincinnati? I'm not. Where is he going back to? Again, just a reminder. The entire reason that people are mad at Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk is because they want there to be H-1B visas, which is something that I think Donald Trump came out in support of, right? I'm like 80% sure. Trump H-1B, H-1B visa. I think the abuses of the H-1B program have been evident, where you have where you have sort of the sons and daughters of those factory workers who lost their jobs. I'm sorry. We're talking about like middle class people getting their jobs like in the current, like when did manufacturing jobs overtime USA? Wait, can we go back further than 2014, please? So like people who are like currently looking for work are going to be people who were born in the very late 80s. I'm going to go back to 1990, okay? From 1990 to 2024, go. Jesus Christ, 2008 killed manufacturing in the United States, didn't it? Let's go back as far as like 1970. So if we're looking at people who are like looking for jobs now, that are probably the ones that are competing with H-1B visa people, which I keep on getting, and someone in chat can correct me if I'm wrong here, all right? I keep on getting mixed information about this from official sources, so I don't know what I don't know what the deal is. H-1B visas, you have to try to hire an American citizen before hiring someone with an H-1B visa, right? Am I right or am I wrong on that? Because I'm pretty sure I'm right. The people who are right now looking for jobs are not the sons and daughters of manufacturing families. The peak was in like the late 70s, early 80s. Okay, I guess it doesn't matter. I'm just getting curious about everything that he's saying. That is the policy, but the question is whether or how strongly that is enforced, what amounts to trying. If you interview a candidate and decide they don't fit, then you can apply for H-1B. I guess the onus would be on them to show that it is not working as intended, right?
For the content of his character. And I think that truly was a mask-off moment where we saw that Vivek Ramaswamy really is just a fucking nerd who needs to go back. I think that what you did is different. I think it's everybody spurgs out. I'm spurging out right now. I'm gonna spurg out later, okay? On Chris, Lynch. And also, Indians do cool stuff every once in a while. They get the chest slapping, wrestling. You guys watch that action movies. He's shooting a bullet out of the air with a gun. He's flipping over the tuk-tuk. Indian clubs, shoulder rehab, exercise, fantastic. The hate, it's irrational hate. It's just racism. It's just a nonsensical racism. The hate and racism and anti-Indian sentiment, it's there to the extent that Indians are being used to replace white people. That's it. We have to stop playing pretend. We're not talking about exceptional Indians here. And that's why this is sort of spreading like wildfire, people sharing these H-1B lists of what the jobs are. You are not in Calcutta scouting.
Can you see what the unemployment rate for a specific industry is? Tech unemployment rate? Can you do that? The tech unemployment rate for, oh, yes, you can. The tech unemployment rate in September was 2.5%. We don't have a bunch of unemployed. We don't have a bunch of unemployed tech workers. Hold on, let me see here. If our unemployment rate is that low, that means that we don't have enough workers in that sector of our economy. Yeah, and in the current job market, if I wanted to create a competitor to Google, I couldn't. I would literally have to steal employees. Yeah, exactly. Like if the unemployment rate is that low, you're not going to have enough workers to go around to expand those businesses without hiring people from the H-1B program.
For the next Indian Einstein, you're not. We have to make it to outer space and invent new computers. Let's get to India and get the next Nikola Tesla. That's not what's happening. We're talking about people at fucking gas stations. You bring them over, you put them in a fucking gas station, and then we'll go around all the gas stations in the USA and find the next genius.
I'm also pretty sure that H-1B visas are not being handed out for fucking gas stations. Actually, I feel like we have to look up every single fucking claim. Are H-1B visas used for gas station jobs? What jobs qualify for an H-1B visa? H-1B specialty occupations may include fields such as architecture, engineering, mathematics, physical science, social sciences, medicine and health, education, business specialties, accounting, law, theology, and the arts. You have to buy an H-1B visa permit for the person to try and get into the country, like $4,000. Oh, so like the company has to sponsor them, right? Who's going to spend money to bring in someone from India to work for the same wages that someone's going to get in the United States over this, unless we had a complete lack of workers? Lmao, can I own a gas station on an H-1B visa? Yeah, I don't think you can move to the United States on an H-1B visa to own your own business, you know? There are people posting pics from an H-1B registry with the jobs listed. I heard about that, but then I read a thread, and I'm not going to lie to you. I was very high, okay? It was like New Year's Eve that I saw this thread, okay? So from my very, very sketchy memory, okay? From my very, very sketchy memory on this, there's a bunch of job listings on there, but it's kind of like the way that there's the possibility, but it's like a 0.00001% chance, because they're not actually looking for people aren't actually looking for people in gas stations, right? People aren't actually looking for people to, they're not looking to sponsor someone's visa to come and, pick fruit or some shit like that. That's my understanding of the program. I'm willing to be, shown something that I don't even know where to get good information on all this. Okay. So, I don't think people are paying for people to come across the fucking ocean to work a minimum wage job. That's not fucking happening. People are using these H-1B visas for... Here, let's just click on the H-1B website. H-1B specialty occupations. Well, what's regular? Can I just go to like the H-1B? I guess this is the... Fuck, I just don't know if this is like a specific H-1B visa. Fuck. Question, can a gas station owner sponsor his employee for H-1 visa or H-1B visa? It's extremely unlikely U.S. Customs Immigration Services would approve an H-1B for this position. The expense for governmental filing fees alone would be considerable and non-refundable. The employer can certainly try, but the issue is showing a bachelor's degree or higher is needed for the position, that your degree would be appropriate for the position. Okay, so you have to also show that, like, you need a bachelor's degree for the position. Read this, read which. It literally said bachelor's degree or higher right there. No, he was wrong about that. He has no H-1B workers. He's referring to the J-1 visas that work on his properties. Oh, gotcha. Trump also uses H-2B visas like gardeners and landscapers and H-2A agricultural. Oh, man, that's crazy.
Well, what if he's not in India? What if he's working at a gas station in North Carolina?
What I said earlier? There is a low-income farm H-1B visa style program. It's called H-2B visa or something. I knew someone who hired one to sit with his sheep 24/7. Okay, gotcha.
He might be there. We don't know. Why don't we be in Einstein?
Let's go back a little bit.
You're not. We have to make it to outer space and invent new computers. Let's get to India and get the next Nikola Tesla. That's not what's happening. We're talking about people at fucking gas stations. You bring them over, you put them in a fucking gas station, and then we'll go around all the...
So now we know this is probably just like not true at all.
gas stations in the USA and find the next genius. Well, what if he's not in India? What if he's working at a gas station in North Carolina? He might be there. We don't know. Why don't we bring everybody here and then we can look for everybody? That's actually a fucking genius idea. We bring fucking everybody here and then, like a needle in a haystack, we find the one man who can invent electrical computer. That sounds fucking retarded, and it's not true. You have to at least say that the H-1B program...
That's not what... I don't think that's what anybody says the H-1B program is supposed to do. It's just like, we need more workers in this specific... what do you call it? In this specific sector, there aren't enough workers in this sector in the United States that are, citizens of the United States. So what are we going to do? We're going to look to places elsewhere that have a bunch of workers with the skill set. We're going to allow you guys to hire them. Is this like a crazy fucking thing? I think one of the reasons that I'm getting a little bit just black-pilled on politics is the things that people care about. Like the idea that H-1B visas are the reasons that like people are, struggling right now is just fucking insane to me. But I don't think I think one of the reasons that I'm getting so blackpilled on politics is that nobody cares about what the actual issue is. They just know that they have a feeling that there's an issue somewhere in the general vicinity of like the economy. They have this like feeling, right? And so because they have this feeling that something is bad with the economy, something must be bad with the economy, right? And we got to look for a reason for why the economy is bad. You know, let's just like completely ignore the fact that, you know, we just had like a record-breaking Christmas like consumer like spending year. We had record spending on groceries. We had record spending on like a bunch of things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like, you know, people can't afford to eat. People can't afford to, you know, buy their kids Christmas presents, even though we've had record spending on all of these things at the same time. It's not like we had record spending on groceries because they're so expensive and then nobody was able to buy Christmas presents. We had record spending on everything post the election. How does that make any sense? If the economy is so bad and people are struggling so much, right? And we're struggling so much for, you know, the oh wait, hold on. Which tab did I have the not manufacturing jobs over time? That's not the one. Tech unemployment rate. If we have such like a problem with like tech people being unemployed or finding it difficult to find a job, why is the unemployment rate for the tech sector 2.5%, right? Yeah, why is Uber Eats profits going up and up and up? But like people don't care about what the actual issues are, and that's what's so difficult. That's what's so difficult, because I feel like when I first started streaming, we were 3.5 years into Trump's presidency. And people would try, now they would fail to do it, but people would try to, you know, point to a specific problem that we had. But like as time has gone on, like the old moniker of like facts don't care about your feelings has completely gone away. And we are ruled. We are slaves. We're slaves to our feelings about the economy. We are slaves to our feelings about immigrants. We are slaves to our feelings about basically anything to do with politics. Nobody actually cares to look at the problem and then find a solution for that problem. People can't identify the problem in the first place, so they hear about one thing and they've decided that's why everyone's poor. This is why I'm personally suffering right now. How do you have a conversation with someone that doesn't live in fucking reality? When we hear fucking Mr. Whatever the fuck his name is, Sam Hyde, talk about, oh, we need to prioritize Americans over Indians, right? And we need to make sure that, you know, American workers are the ones being protected. Where are they being attacked? What are we protecting them from? How do you even have a conversation when the issue at hand isn't even agreed upon? What is the issue with the economy? What is the issue? What is the issue with immigration? What is the issue with H-1B visas? Are any of these things actually issues?
Is being scammed. If you don't admit that, then as far as like any type of discussion that goes anywhere is concerned, it's over. It's over. This is a direct quote from Moist Critical himself. I'm speaking on his behalf. He was too busy streaming Marvel Rivals to talk to you. So I'm here on his behalf, giving you opinions that he approved, okay? Nobody's expecting you to go.
Yeah. What is the issue with drag queens? Was that not an issue that we were all talking about 2 years ago? Where are all the drag queen story hours? Did the conservatives drive them all underground? There are no more drag queens anymore? What happened to all the books that were like poisoning our minds? Yeah. What happened to all of that stuff? None of that actually mattered to anybody. Why is nobody talking about these things anymore? Because they don't fucking matter.
A full Steve Bannon here. You're a tech bro. We get it. Immigrant. But if you are on Team America, and by Team America, I don't mean Ben Shapiro's collection of ideas. America's not a collection of ideas. America
It is, but
a people. Americans. If you are Team America, then the most prominent talking points need to be the immediate deportation of illegals and the end of the abuse of the American worker by programs like this H-1B, the gamification of stuff like this that's set up to benefit people who aren't us. Nobody wants to solve the Japanese birth rate problem by turning Japan into...
Human beings are not interchangeable economic units. I mean, I guess it depends on like the context of the conversation you're having. If we're talking about a labor shortage, then yes, they are. I mean, like, definitionally, they would be. Wasn't Trump's anti-trans ad a big needle pusher in the election? I've heard like 3 people say that whose entire like life is built around like being scared of trans people. Outside of that, I haven't heard conservatives talk about trans people in months or like a year. Because it's just not like that, because nobody fucking cares. Because nobody fucking cares. Because it's not an actual fucking issue.
Into India. That's preposterous. That's set up to benefit people who aren't us. Nobody wants to solve the Japanese birth rate problem by turning Japan into India. That's preposterous. That only would work in a computer simulation where you can just change the code and make a Japanese person. I've tried it. It can't be done. In my laboratory, okay, where Asmongold is right now, down in the basement, I have tried over 150 times to turn an Indian into a Japanese man. And the only thing I was able to accomplish was boiling them. All right? If you think, Elon, or Asmongold, if you're watching this, if you think you can turn an Indian person into a Japanese person by boiling them, not gonna happen, okay? Go down to my basement and talk to the 150 Indians that I already tried that on. Doesn't work. Nobody wants to solve the American birth rate problem. What's gonna happen? We're gonna run out of people. Oh, the stock prices are gonna go down. Oh, that's a problem for the All In podcast to figure out. It's David Sachs. Sachs of what? Sachs of gold?
The economy to people like this is just like, it's just like a magical thing. Like the economy doesn't have, you know, hard numbers that you can crunch and like figure out what the best thing is, and, you know, where you can put certain resources into one area to increase your productivity. Like it's just like a magic, you know, ephemeral thing that, if I feel like it's bad, it's bad. If the numbers disagree with me on it, then it's not, you're just not looking at the real numbers. It's just a magic box that I can create my own, you know, political narrative out of.
Just start calling yourself David Sachs of gold. What's the other guy? Jason Sachs? Asmongold. Asmongold. David Sachs should change his name to Asmongold. The branding is already set up for you. Asmongold wants to himself. You can replace his body and become the top streamer in America. I shouldn't say Asmongold wants to himself. I love Asmongold. That guy's classic. He's the ultimate. He's the best streamer. Is he good? I think he's good. I've never watched him. I just know his name is Asmongold. The only people who want to fix the American birth rate problem by turning America into India are fuckers. People are not interchangeable economic units. If they're not more than that, then that's just an extension of antinatalism. That's just nihilism. That's just people don't matter. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the universe doesn't care. Shit. The universe cares. That's why we're here. It's understandable why a computer guy, why an engineer would think that or would want to think that, because it would make solving problems so much easier. We have hardwired group preferences, we have genetic memory, we have culture. This is not learned stuff. It's so deeply embedded in us that it carries.
If it was so deeply embedded in us, like, I am 1/4 Belgian. Okay? My grandmother was from Belgium. Had an accent and everything. Okay? I don't know dick all about the culture or what are all the things that he talked about right here?
Hardwired group problems so much easier. We have hardwired group preferences, we have genetic memory, we have culture. This is not learned stuff. It's so deeply embedded in us.
Okay.
That it carries on.
I'm sorry. People who want to like cry and piss and moan whenever someone like says, "Oh, well, this guy's using Nazi talking points," they can, you know, go find a nice thick and long rope, so they can tie their lives back together. Try and save that analogy there, but this is like literally like Nazi. It's not even just fascism. It's like literally Nazi ideology. Like, I'm sorry, as someone who has read the book that was first written about fascism, right? The Giovanni Gentile. I can't remember the title of the book. Fuck. It's like the fascist manifesto. Okay. There's a lot of stuff that he's saying that's like along those lines, but fascism it doesn't inherently have a racial component to it. But an offshoot of, you know, classical fascism is Nazism, which does have a racial component to it. And every single thing that he just said is like right out of that fucking playbook, right? We have a genetic memory that allows us to, you know who our in-group preference should be towards. And we have genetic memory that lets us know what our culture is and why we enjoy one culture over another. But like, again, if you took a child out of like straight out the pussy, put them in an orphanage, and then they get adopted by a different, you know, culture or ethnicity family, they're probably going to know that culture a lot more than their birth culture. Birth culture? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like insane, weird glorification of shit that you never accomplished yourself, right? Like, if the only thing that you can identify yourself with and identify, you know, your neighbors or your friends is through, you know, the lens of your race, I'm sorry, you're a really sad sack of shit. Like, you're like, there's not a lot going on for you in your life, is there? There's not a lot going on in your life for you to only look at people through this lens of what color their skin is, where they were born, you know, not just where they were born, but to whom they were born to. Like, this shit's fucking insane. And I don't know how anyone would say that he's not doing like a Nazi talking point here. Imagine not honoring your ancestors. I don't care if someone wants to honor their ancestors is the thing. Like, honoring your ancestors is one thing, but like changing your behavior towards other people because of what your ancestors believed is really fucking stupid to me. Like, just because my ancestors did something does not mean that I have to do it too. Just because my ancestors believed something does not mean I have to believe it too, right? My ancestors probably believed in the four humors. You aren't grasping in-group preference? What part here have I said? Like, I understand the concept of an in-group preference. What part of in-group preference is down to our genes? He's ironically spreading Nazi ideology. I think this is probably the first serious video Sam Hyde's ever put out. What do you mean I'm not grasping in-group preference? I understand the concept. I even had a whole 5-minute tangent earlier talking about the concept of in-group preference earlier, and you were in chat for it. And also, in-group preference doesn't have to come down to the color of your skin. In-group preferences can, well, you get to define what the in-group is. Your in-group could be based around anything. It doesn't have to come down to race. Oh, fuck. Fuck.
The basement and talk to the 150 Indians. It's David Sachs. Sachs of what? Sachs of gold? Just start calling yourself David Sachs of gold. What's the other guy? Jason Sachs?
Listen, Tron, if you're going to talk shit about Belgians not being white, all right, then you're telling me that I have the pass, all right? And you do not want to give me the pass, because then you're going to have a hell of a time. You're going to have a hell of a time editing this stream. Do not take my white card away, because I will abuse that.
Asmongold. David Sachs has changed his name to Asmongold. The branding is already set up for you. Asmongold wants to himself. You can replace his body and become the top streamer in America. I shouldn't say Asmongold wants to himself. I love Asmongold. That guy's classic. He's the ultimate. He's the best streamer. Is he good? I think he's good.
This video is getting a lot of play on Twitch. Was the significance of this person? He's been an internet memer for a long time, and I think that there was contention as to whether or not he was a Nazi, and I think that contention is rapidly going away, because this dude is unironically saying a bunch of actual Nazi talking points. He's actually some crazy weird racial essentialism shit going on, you know? A lot of people think he's a groomer and had relationships with teens. I haven't seen I haven't seen any conclusive evidence of that. I'm not going to make any statements about that. He also had an Adult Swim show. I forgot about that. But he's an internet phenom from a long time ago, underground internet phenom. The trans commercials did appear to have a significant impact. If there's any data on that, I'll believe it. As it stands right now, I didn't hear anybody talking about any trans issues during the election. If there was something that I missed, even though I was following it super fucking closely, I would love to see that. But I didn't see trans issues being a top 5 issue in the election at all. Hey, Adult Swim, J-Mac, you must be old as fuck. You must be old as fuck, dude. What the fuck? You don't know what Adult Swim is? Jesus Christ.
I've never watched him. I just know his name is Asmongold. The only people who want to fix the American birth rate problem by turning America into India are fuckers. People are not interchangeable economic units. If they're not more than that, then that's just an extension of antinatalism. That's just nihilism. That's just people don't matter. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the universe doesn't care shit. The universe cares. That's why we're here. It's understandable why a computer guy, why an engineer would think that or would want to think that, because it would make solving problems so much easier. We have hardwired group preferences, we have genetic memory, we have culture. This is not learned stuff. It's so deeply embedded in us that it carries on for thousands of years. Thinking of people as interchangeable units, while it would be useful in a simulation or in an economic theorem, it strips them of their humanity. And by the way, it's one of the first steps towards any authoritarian dictatorship type system. It's one of the first steps towards Marxism, is thinking of people as just labor. It's a very gross, anti-human
The first step
thing to
in
think.
what?
Steps towards Marxism is thinking of people as just labor. It's a very gross.
Fuck, I keep on doing that. Fuck.
When I said I wanted think that people can just be moist critical pronunciation. And by the way, it's one of the first steps towards any authority.
Okay. I don't know if that's like true at all. I don't know where he gets that at all. The first step towards authoritarianism is looking at people like their labor, as units of labor. Like there's so much here that's just like stupid that it's not even worth responding to. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to say about that? Like, nuh-uh? Like, it's just a stupid fucking statement on its face.
Authoritarian dictatorship type system. It's one of the first steps towards Marxism, is thinking of people as just labor. It's a very gross, anti-human thing to think, just to appeal to the Redditor in you. That's middle brain shit. Stupid people at the bottom of the spectrum know that everybody is special. Everybody's special. Everybody's different and has their own thing. Retards know this. Geniuses.
This just a regular Emerald playthrough? No, this is Emerald Legacy ROM hack. Somewhat difficulty hack, somewhat nostalgia hack. Because he believes if you reduce people to economic units and diminish their other qualities, it would be easier to commit atrocities against them. But that's not what the only reason we're talking about people in the context of like as units of labor is because we're having a conversation about units of labor. How else are you supposed to fucking talk about this without hurting fucking conservatives' feelings? Zolo, please fucking enlighten me, okay? How the fuck am I supposed to talk about, we need this many workers for this job. We have a unemployment rate of 2.5%, and yet we need like 50,000 more workers, all right? There aren't enough workers in the United States that have the qualifications to do this job. All right. So what am I supposed to talk about that doesn't use them as like, tell me the words, because the fragile conservative psyche when it comes to talking about these things fucking blows my mind. I am a fucking liberal. All right. I am a bleeding heart. Like, well, let me change every single fucking word that I was about to say. Jesus fucking Christ. I am a liberal. Okay. Everyone like always makes fun of the bleeding heart liberal that doesn't want to, commodify people and hates the commodification of art and shit like that. Like I have been one of those people to a certain extent. I am still one of those people, and still, and still, when I want to have a conversation about economics, I'm going to have a conversation about fucking economics. People like Jared Taylor would rather have economic hardship but maintain homogeneity. Well, those people, like, fuck them. Like, they're subhumanly unintelligent. They're subhumanly fucking hateful. I do not view them as human. If you would rather everyone in the country fucking suffer rather than let one fucking dirty fucking browno come into the country, yeah, you're less than human to me. Do not fucking care who fucking decides that that's a really mean thing to say about another human being. But you are less than human if you view another human being as less than human. That is how you actually become less than human in my eyes, is to view another human being as less than human. I'm willing to take on that, like, subhuman moniker, okay? I'm willing to eat that, all right, for you guys. I'll call him that, all right? Because I don't see them as having the same moral, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry, conservatives are not butthurt about this type of convo. J-Mac. The entire reason this video has been made, directed specifically at Elon, is because conservatives are having a fucking civil war over the idea that Indians are getting visas to come and work in the United States. With half of them saying, these people are dirty, nasty, smelly, street, the poopers, right? Trying to separate out the thing because I don't want people to think that I'm saying a slur. But they're saying all of these things about Indian people, all right? And the other half of them are saying, wait, hold on. I thought we just didn't like illegal immigration. This is legal, so this is fine. J-Mac, you're going to trigger the fuck out of me. At any point during the like 5 or 6 streams that you've watched me, when have I ever referred to conservatives as anyone to the right of me? All right? I'm using conservatives to mean the broad conservative party who supported Donald Trump. I hate the fucking accusations thrown my way from fucking people on YouTube. Like, it blows my mind. I don't know how many fucking qualifications I can throw onto this to fucking make it to where people's fifis don't get hurt, okay? There is no broad conservative party that supported Trump, though. Okay. We're just going to keep watching the video. What the fuck am I supposed to say to that? Conservative, conservative poll, Donald Trump favorability polls. Can we do... I don't want just like his overall favorability. I want his favorability with conservatives. Subpopulation, Republicans. %80 of Republicans have a favorable opinion of Donald Trump. Because it's going to... okay, J-Mac is doing a thing right now that I fucking hate. Hey guys, really quick. Everyone in chat, please tell me, when I say there's a broad conservative, movement, there's a broad, Republicans and conservatives kind of interchangeable in the conversation that we're having right here, okay? Does everybody know what I mean when I say conservatives are having a civil war over this issue? Does everybody know what I mean? Or do I have to add every granular fucking qualification so that I don't offend conservatives in chat? Yeah, I use the terms interchangeably because in the conversation that we're having right here, they are interchangeable. We're not talking about political theory right now, J-Mac. Okay, I'm not getting one guide. We're continuing.
Understand that everybody is a unique product by and for their zeitgeist, or Zeitgeist if you want to go with the moist critical pronunciation. Everybody is uniquely a product of their time and location and has their place in space and time. The smart people know this, the stupid people know this. It's people in the middle with 110 IQ, which is the worst IQ to have, who think that people can just be pushed around and moved around and changed. They can't. There's no hate towards Hispanics, okay? But that's why the room that I'm sitting in is covered in dust, is because the general contractor I hired used Hispanic labor. I didn't know. They laid down masonry cement. When I said I wanted polished concrete floors, masonry cement, you can't polish it. They left board marks and footprints in it. And I had to pay another crew of black people, okay, shout out to Greg, to come in here with jackhammers and get this shit dumpstered out of here. I went and hired my own blacks. I went in the ghetto and hired them by hand. That's how you need to hire blacks for SpaceX. And what you get is you get lower quality construction. You get lower wages for the blue collar workers who are here and fighting. You realize that people are fucking up against a wall fighting to make ends meet? Do you understand that the American people are on the ropes right now? Your people are not the world, okay? It's the American people. That's where this shit is popping off. That's where you came to do business. The American people are your problem now, to the extent that you want people to pay attention to your opinion. And by people, I mean actual people, not Patrick Bet-David, not Ian Miles Chong, Scott Adams, not these fucking faggots that'll walk around sucking your ass because you have money and because you made an electric car. But to the extent that you want that, you have to protect the American people. You're all about being pro-natalism and increasing the birth rate. Why is the average dude gonna wanna have kids when he can barely afford to live by himself and eat dump?
I don't know how much more of this we're going to watch, because we're 15 minutes into, we're a third of it in, and like half of the statements we have to look up, just like, that doesn't sound right, let me look it up, and it doesn't seem to be right. And the other half are just like statements that are so unimaginably fucking stupid, there's no way to prove or disprove them. I don't know what to fucking say. Like, it's just insane. High trust societies don't work when you import people who hate those societies. Oh, okay, so then we shouldn't allow people who hate our country to come in. Easy peasy. Does that mean that we should end all immigration? Does that mean that, are you trying to say that all Indians who come into this country fucking hate this country? J-Mac, give me the nomenclature you want me to use, okay? give me the fucking nomenclature. Jesus fucking Christ. There's a reason why the pro-Palestine protests do not have Canadian and American flags when they protest. I can't think of a reason why you would have an American or a Canadian flag when you're doing a pro-Palestine protest. Corey Pelsman, genuinely. And I agree. I don't think that like the anti-Western sentiment in the United States and all these fucking stupid lefties is a good thing. But can you explain to me why you would expect to see American flags at a pro-Palestine protest? No, I looked, it said Republicans. I was trying to find his favorability amongst conservatives, and that was the option that gave me, was Republicans, J-Mac. If you can find me something that shows like his favorability amongst conservatives, although I guarantee you, if we look at the methodology, those people are probably, Rasmussen or fucking, what's the other big, Gallup? They're also going to kind of interchangeably use Republican and conservative, because when we're having a conversation about right-leaning people in the United States, Republican and conservative are interchangeable in the same way that Democrat and liberal are interchangeable. Like, that's just the conversation we're having. They burn American flags at the pro-Palestine protests. Yep, that's a product of freedom of speech. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with it. It's just a thing that we're allowed to do because we live in the greatest nation in the world, where you're not going to get arrested for doing shit like that. Okay, we're gonna try and get through some more of this video, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not having fun watching this video. It's like a rehash of old, like 2016 shit. I feel like I would have seen a bread tuber cover this video in like 2017 or 2018. Like this is the level of like Nazi talking points that we're on, number one. And number two, this is the like how far back in the conversation we've regressed.
Dominoes. Hey, why isn't China importing Infinity Indians right now? If it's such a huge economic advantage, why isn't China doing it? We need to do a naval blockade of China. Such a huge eat dominoes. Hey, why isn't China importing Infinity Indians right now?
Because they have 1 billion people that live in their country. Also, they fucking hate India. They have a fucking bad relationship with India, as far as I know. They have 1 billion people. They don't need to import people for work. They don't need immigration. If I'm completely honest, my understanding of like East Asia is that like East Asia is considerably more racist than even America is. So China should be there having economic issues because of their low birth rate. Well, the low birth rate thing is going to hit them in like 2030 to 2040 when people start getting old and aging out of the workforce. Not yet, though. There would have been no Rwandan genocide without an ethnic divide between the Hutus and the Tutsis. There would have been no apartheid in South Africa were it not for the ethnic divides between white and black South Africans. Nor would there be the current discrimination and incitement to genocide by prominent parties there without against whites in South Africa without those divides. Can you tell me why there hasn't been a fucking like? Well, let's not say there hasn't ever been a. There hasn't ever been a fucking ethnic cleansing in the United States, but like in the past, the past 100 years, right? Have we had a fucking genocide? Have we done a Hutu and Tutsi? Have we done a South Africa, or have we moved past that? Like, it seems like multiculturalism can work, but there seems to be a problem, all right? It seems to be a problem that when the economic shit starts, like, getting bad and people stop, like, when people stop caring about what the country is actually founded on. Trail of Tears. Hey, how's it going, Jovins? It's been a hot second. Yeah, I mean, like, that was a thing, but that was a while ago, okay? We're washing our hands of that one. We don't agree with the Trail of Tears, okay? We don't like the Trail of Tears. Fuck. It does not feel fun to cough when you have a broken rib. Ironically, the Rwandan genocide happened because of people lying on the radio stations, just like Trump. Interesting. But it's mind-blowing how people don't understand he is shit-stirring everyone complaining about this. He's trolling all of you, and you still think he is being serious. Listen, I'm sorry. At a certain point, like, I'm fine with edgy humor, and I'm fine with people trolling. But, like, at a certain point, if you're going to make an entire video and present it as super fucking serious with, like, the occasional joke, right? At a certain point, people are going to take what you say at face value. Is that not, like, I feel like I've given him a lot of grace because he's just like an internet funny man, like, troll guy, right? But there have been allegations that he is a Trump, or not a Trump, I'm sorry. These things kind of get interchanged in my mind. There have been allegations that he is like a Nazi or a racist or some shit like that. Never paid attention to the guy, like literally ever. Sam Hyde does not live in my brain, literally ever. I do not pay attention to the guy. There are a couple of funny videos that I've seen, a couple of funny things that he's done that have got like blown up, right? Other than that, I don't know anything about the guy. No, he isn't. He's a straight up shit stirrer. Okay, well then he's stirring up shit along racial lines in my country, and I don't like him for that. Whether he's like an actual Nazi or he's just like very convincingly saying all of their talking points right now, I don't give a fuck.
If it's such a huge economic advantage, why isn't China doing it? We need to do a naval blockade of China to make sure they don't get any of these amazing Indians. Every Indian that makes his way into China is a...
Also, I don't think that China is beating us in any aspect when it comes to tech. I'm sorry. I don't think that they're like blowing us out of the fucking waters on anything military tech, on, you know, software development or anything like that. They were able to make one AAA game, okay? Not a Nazi, just believes and says everything that they do. Yeah, exactly. You're about to be convinced he's a Nazi. He's very upfront blaming Jews on his podcast. Well, link me something, because I'm not sure how much more of this I can take. This is just annoying.
threat, because China will use their genius.
Electric car manufacturing? They do produce a lot of electric cars. However, are their electric cars better than our electric cars? I genuinely don't know the answer to that.
To get one over on us. That's the biggest threat this country's facing, right? I think we need to go nuclear. I think we need to say, if China imports enough Indians, it's like diamonds. It's like nanotechnology. Indians are like nanotechnology. We have to be willing to use nuclear weapons to keep China from getting these precious Indians. That's step one. Sounds retarded, right? Because it is. It's retarded. It's subtarded. Ever hear of a subtard? By the way, Moist Critical coined that term, subtard. Competing with China in what sense? GDP? Making a number go up? Having software companies that are valued more highly? Competing with China in what sense? And at what cost? If the
Bro, it's literally every single fucking Nazi talking point that I've debated with the Groypers over, dude. It's literally every single one of them. Oh, you want the GDP to go up? You want the economy to be good? Yeah, number go up, therefore I'm feeling better about the economy? Like, it's literally every fucking retarded, like, subhumanly low IQ take I've ever heard come from a, like, incel, like kissless virgin's mouth. It is unfucking believable how many he's hitting in such a short amount of time.
cost is making America look like Calcutta, that's not worth it. That's not a price that we're willing to pay. People keep posting these aerial drone display videos of drones shaped like a dragon. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's something that a bright high schooler could do on a smaller scale, is it not? Making drones move around in 3D space? How is that an impressive problem to anybody except boneheads who are mystified by drones in the first place? Look at this, this aerial drone display. It's a ballet of...
Yeah, you know what? I will give him that. It is really fucking boneheaded, stupid shit to fucking look at the dragon drone thing and think, wow, this is like, they're beating us so fucking hard right now. This is like, that's actually fucking stupid, yeah. Oh, okay, Rami. Well, I guess we won't watch the rest of the fucking video. I guess like the entire fact that, you know, he put this out on the back of the fucking massive, you know, conservative / Republican / Trump / right leaning. Sorry, J Mac in chat. Okay. The entire civil war that's going on the right now. Like, I guess like none of that fucking matters. We can just like turn off the video because it was all just a fucking troll, and literally nothing that he says with the nearly 1 million fucking views that he has on this video, right? Where he is, you know, commentating like directly to someone who has a direct line whispering into the ear of the fucking president. Yeah, like, I guess like none of this fucking matters at all. It's all just a really big fucking troll. We shouldn't fucking care about it at all. We shouldn't listen to it at all. We shouldn't like, oh, well, he's just fucking trolling, right? Just like fucking Nick Fuentes was fucking trolling. Like, oh man, like he's just like a really good fucking memer. At the end of the day, what's the fucking point of fucking pointing out, oh, well, he's a big troll. He's a big memer, blah, 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 blah. It's just fucking cover. And if he is fucking just memeing, well, then he's doing the work of fucking Nazis because he's saying literally the exact same things that they do, having a bunch of people in the general public saying, hey, you know what? This guy's got some good ideas. This guy, he says it like it is. Like, I've seen those takes on fucking Twitter. So like, what the fuck do you want from me? All right. Do you think that like we should like, oh, well, I don't think that this guy is serious, so therefore nothing that he says is like worth Yeah, I was about to say, then I shouldn't fucking react to Trump saying literally anything. I should never look at Trump because he's just a memer. We can't take anything that he says at face value. Nothing that he says has any value whatsoever because he could, change his mind the next day. So fuck it. We'll never listen to another person who has ever made a fucking joke on the internet. What the fuck do you want from me? Sondsol, he's always believed this.
Oh,
How you doing there, Skeeter? Listen up and listen good. Since the beginning of recorded...
See, like, with stuff like this, 6 years ago, I'm sure, and we'll watch the video, I'm sure I would look at this and say, you know what, this guy seems like a memer. It seems like he's making a joke. However, when you make a 45-minute video directed specifically at Elon Musk because he's whispering in Trump's ear over something like about immigration, and you're trying to, I'm sorry, what's the fucking joke?
history, the white man's been coming up with technologies, cultures, civilizations worth keeping, worth saving, worth giving a damn about.
Thank you, white man, for inventing the computer, the microwave, medicine, electricity, sanitation, theory of evolution, the radio, the pencil, Western law, cotton candy, freedom of speech, the sewing machine, discovery of DNA, the atom, discovery of the cell, the camera, Christless, and we was king.
This work hangs.
thank you, white people. Thank you for creating a society where people don't shit in the...
What the fuck is this facial hair, my guy? What compelled you? What compelled you to cut it off right there? Sorry. Couldn't. That one fucking stopped me in my tracks. I couldn't fucking pay attention to anything else. What the fuck, dude?
Thank you, white people. Thank you for
Sadly, white man never created anime. True.
creating a society where people don't shit in the street or beat their kids all day. And thank you for letting us use your pristine, clean emergency rooms. And thank you for all the free money. Oh, and by the way, did you know I'm 1/8 Hopi Indian?
I don't give a fuck about that.
Excuse me, mister. Yoo-hoo. Hi. Thanks for giving women the vote.
What happened to your
Uh-oh.
boulder, Goy?
I don't know. I wasn't looking. Next thing I knew, Boulder's gone. I guess I'm a stupid goy. You're white.
Okay. Well, try a little bit more.
Killer drones, how can we compete with that? That's what drones do. They move around in coordinate space. Who gives a fuck? Well, it's the low-hanging fruit of robotics that mystifies people. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Didn't we have more impressive shit in the 80s? Isn't this more impressive?
One. Cover. With no pilot to compromise performance, even more unusual craft and propulsion systems have been designed and tested.
Why do we need to compete with them? Can't we just kick their spies out and tell them to fuck off? When do I get some Chinese pussy, okay? Am I not a big enough media figure that the CCP, is it the CCP, Chinese Communist Party? Why aren't they sending these hot spies to fuck with me? Suck my dick for blackmail. When's that gonna happen? China, I'm waiting, okay? I have 300,000 YouTube subscribers, or 250,000 probably, 200,000? How much on Hide Wars? If you have over 100,000 Twitter followers, you should demand that a hot Chinese spy comes and sucks your dick, okay? You take video, whatever. Why is that? Am I not popular enough to get this fucking mingling? To get Bing Bing over here? Ah! A Tesla Model X and Bing Bing over here sucking me. That's my price, China. Send them over. Do we need to build giant cities that nobody lives in to compete? Do we need to turn our country into a surveillance state fucking nightmare to compete? Do we need to essentially have slave labor to compete? What type of competition are you talking about? And at what cost? Competing with China is competing with literal slave
You think
labor,
so, Corey?
and that's impossible to compete with. It's not worth competing with.
The drones, by the way, I think the fact that drone warfare is becoming extremely effective, having thousands flying perfectly in coordination, could act as an aerial minefield against any, or any number of offensive actions. I mean, yeah, drone warfare is like fucking crazy. The next thing that I was going to look at was something about Russia lost an entire battalion in one day. So that's probably what we're going to watch next. But yeah, drone warfare is fucking crazy. And all of the people that I know that are in like the, I shouldn't say, the people that I see talking about online who are like in the military community or the like open source intel community or stuff like that, they all are mad that we haven't been investing in the drone technology,
What
like
else
the
is
small.
happening? What's on Twitter? What's trending on Twitter?
Wait, what did I just click on? Oh, okay. They're like all the military people I know are like mad that we haven't been investing in the FPV, first person view drones. But they lose to fucking microwave bursts. Well, I'm sure that like the military will probably try and come up with some way to counteract that, or I'm sure that they know that, you know? Okay. Is there a timestamp where he says the fucking crazy shit? Here, we'll watch like the first 2 minutes of this, and if it doesn't do it, then we'll move.
Can we see, Chris?
I like how that's only the thing Twitter's good for.
What's
Hold on. China having the drone tech to perfectly fly thousands to form a pretty dragon could also be used in an attack. Right, but like we also have that capability here in the United States. Right, but they just like hype it up super fucking hard because the government wants everybody to think that they're like the reason why everyone is seeing the fucking dragon isn't because the dragon is that fucking impressive. It's kind of cool looking, right? But like China wants everybody to think like, oh, well, they have like such better technology and they're ahead of everyone. It's the same style of like Russian propaganda from the Soviet era. It's the same kind of propaganda that Russia still tries to push. Like, oh, well, we're actually like well ahead of the West, and you know, our missiles are hypersonic, and that means that they're better. And our tanks have auto loaders in the turrets, so we're ahead of the United States and the entire West by at least 50 years. You know, like they try and like hype themselves up to scare people in the populace, so they vote for people that are like more squeamish to take any action against them, which has been pretty effective the past couple of years, hasn't it? China probably doesn't want to waste the chips those drones would need in a big attack like that. High-end chips aren't in. Well, I don't even know like what level, like what kind of chips you would need. Like I'm incredibly tech illiterate, especially when it comes to hardware. Okay, so I don't know what you would need for a fucking drone like that. You know? Yeah, those drone chips and drones are cheap. Yeah, exactly. Like I would assume that they're cheap because you probably don't need a ton of processing power. And also, like if you're going to use them in military engagement, something that is that flimsy and that fragile, being that expensive, and then putting it on the front line is probably something that's just not worth the investment. I have no idea what this Shang Yang and fucking Sean are arguing about in chat. Do I need to time someone out? Twitch chat, let me know. All right, we're gonna watch 2 minutes of this and then we're gonna move on.
Trending?
Not missing something.
Well, I think Twitter's great. I think it's everything that it's getting there. What's Amy Schumer doing? Is she doing some?
She's eating. She's
I've
trending.
never given money.
Damn.
What has Amy Schumer said? This is not going away.
What is not?
This Israel-Palestine thing. It's really setting the Brazilians against the leftists that they've sort of created.
Isn't that good?
I mean,
As a
You don't think they'll contain it?
I think I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's not going away, man.
What you think? Like leftists are going to be going at pro-Brazilian?
Yeah, because the Palestinian side is the brown underdog oppressed
side that the leftists are sort of gravitating towards, and they're now like,
They're Frankenstein's beating them back.
yeah, the golem is fighting back now.
You're right.
Yeah.
So like
And there's, frankly, the left is saying and doing things that are downright anti-Semitic.
Welcome to the party, pal.
I've been asleep the whole time on this thing. I'm just like, it's boring.
I
mean,
avoid it,
Yeah,
dude.
But what did it say? Hold on. Did something I posted about my people being massacred upset you?
My people being massacred?
Yeah, the my people thing is fucking unbelievable. Like, Brazilian just wake up and stop talking like that.
No, it's not gonna happen.
I know. What is it? What is it about? Like, I don't understand it. Like, I would never. Like, I'm a Catholic boy.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's just not. It's not capturing my attention. I don't care. The Sam Hyde thing was massively overblown. The golem is a Nazi analogy on a Jewish story. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sorry, I just stopped listening. I don't think that he's funny enough to justify listening to his podcast in the first place. And then, like, after hearing him, like, just spout Nazi shit for, 15 minutes. And again, like, I don't go out of my way to call people Nazis on a regular basis. But there are Nazis in the world, okay? And when you argue with people about, hey, this guy's saying Nazi stuff, everyone gets super defensive. Oh, well, he's just like a conservative. He's just like, not everyone's a Nazi that disagrees with you. But like, it gets really hard to, when you start talking about like your genetic memory to the affinity of your culture and people who look like you, it starts hitting different, It just hits way different. All right, let's see what's going on in Ukraine. Hold on. What the fuck are we talking about in chat? Are we talking about grooming gang scandal cover-up, Oldham, Telford, Rotherham? Why are we talking about sexual assault and rape gangs in my chat? Can we not? Like, is it even related, or are you guys just talking? Have you seen Zelensky talk to Lex Friedman? No, I have a feeling that I'm going to really fucking hate that conversation because I hate Lex Friedman in the first place. So, I can't stand Lex Friedman in the first place. Not that like he's necessarily a bad person, although I think that him, publicly trying to pressure Zelensky into talking in Russian, specifically was like a weird move. And then I've heard people say that he was like aggressive to Zelensky and asked like really, really fucking tough questions that he didn't ask anyone like Trump or, Vivek Ramaswamy. He didn't ask them super tough questions, but he was like drilling down on Zelensky. So Lex Fedotov? Oh, really? Is that really his real name? I mean, I that kind of podcast just like doesn't do anything for me. Like it's hard enough for me to like pay attention to them, but like if it's someone that I especially don't like, I'm not gonna watch it. He's just like so calm. Hi, my name is Lex Friedman. Today, I'm going to be talking to President Zelensky of Ukraine. Let me talk about this in a way that makes it sound very dramatic and like I'm doing something really high-minded. Anyways, let me push some Russian propaganda really quick. But yeah, like he just seems like a slightly more intellectual person than or a slightly more intellectual version of Joe Rogan. So it's just not the podcast for me. If you want to watch it, that's fine. That's fine. You can do whatever you want to do, but yeah. Okay, I'm going to try these headphones again because those were working fine after I reset, and these sound better, so. The Russian thing, I understand. It was the way in which he went about doing it, which seemed super sketchy. So, also, I was under the impression that he was fluent in Ukrainian. I thought that he said that he spoke Ukrainian before, but now all of a sudden he can't speak fluent Ukrainian. So I don't know, but I don't have that strong of an opinion on. I don't have that strong of an opinion on Lex Friedman. I don't have that strong of an opinion in general on like the podcast space. Yeah. He removed his links to Ukraine from his wiki profile. It used to say it. Well, if I want to be like ultra good faith, that might have been something that that Putin that he needed to do in order to get a conversation with Putin. I could see that happening. I'm not trying to defend him necessarily because he could be like a Russian Kremlin puppet, whatever the fuck. I don't know, but you know what I mean.
Right now launching a counterattack against Russian forces in the border region of Kursk, while one top Ukrainian official says Russia is getting, quote, what it deserves. Ukraine first moved in on the Russian territory in a surprise incursion in August, managing to hold much of the area despite Russian efforts aided by North Korea to drive forces back over the border. Joining us now to discuss, Cedric Leighton, retired U.S. Air Force colonel and CNN military analyst. Great to have you here. Good to see you. Let's just start first generally with your take on the situation as it stands today between Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah, Jessica, well, good to be with you. There are a lot of different aspects to this, but the main thing is that the Ukrainians are still consistently moving forward in certain areas, but in other areas, they're kind of giving ground in the east, especially to the Russians. So a lot of the gains that the Russians are making in the east are incremental. But when it comes to what's happening in Kursk, the Russians have not dislodged the Ukrainians from there. And in fact, as you noted, the Ukrainians are engaging in a counteroffensive, which is basically aimed at cleaning out some of the Russian areas and the North Korean areas around the area of Sucha, which is the town that they occupy in that district in Russia, right across the border from them.
And Ukrainian President Zelensky says the Russian army lost up to a battalion of North Korean soldiers who've now joined Moscow's fight and some Russian paratroopers.
And I looked this up. A Russian battalion size is 600 to 800 soldiers and officers, with about 200 of them being infantrymen. So they lost 600 to 800 men in one day fighting Ukraine.
If that's in first, up to a battalion of North Korean soldiers who've now joined Moscow's fight and some.
If Ukraine falls, EU will have to learn to defend themselves rather than depending on the USA. Well, as it stands right now, my understanding is that the EU is ramping up either way because of Russia, right? And then, so they're ramping up because of Russia, and then because they don't trust Trump to like follow through on any promises. So that's where the EU is right now. Like they're ramping up production because there's very likely going to be a major conflict, and they don't want to be caught on the, on the back foot for that. I think it's possible if Trump abandons Ukraine that Ukraine can keep going. The problem is Elon Musk. I don't know if Ukraine can keep going without Elon. Is that true? EU is mostly fine because of NATO. Moldova and Georgia are in danger. Well, yeah, but I mean, like, there's likely going to be a fucking global war over like Taiwan, and this is like the opening salvo into like testing the West resolve,
Russian paratroopers. If that's in fact accurate, how impactful?
By the way, if you're watching on YouTube right now, please like the stream. Liking the stream helps me out so much more than you could possibly imagine. There's 6 people watching on the short stream. If you guys like that, more people are likely to see it and stop on the stream. And that means more people chatting and more entertainment for you guys, all right? You're only hurting yourselves by not liking the stream.
impactful is that sort of defeat?
Well, it could be up to 1,000 soldiers that would be lost in a situation like that. Normal battalion size in the Russian military is somewhere between 600 and 800 soldiers, depending on the type
he looked
of
that up on
battalion.
Google.
So let's cut it in half and say about 500 were lost. That's still somewhat significant.
I don't stream on Kick because it's probably not worth the bandwidth. Sorry.
In a specific operation. Now, it's not going to change the course of the war by itself. It's also not going to change exactly what the Russian goals are, but it could have a momentum of its own. And actions like this, if the Russians were in fact, and the North Koreans were in fact in a situation where they lost that many people, that could have a significant impact on their ability to carry forth operations in the Kursk area.
And of course, President-elect Trump returning to the White House in just about 2 weeks. He said many times he plans to end the war on day one. I think it's becoming pretty clear that that's going to be almost impossible. But President Zelensky says that Trump's, quote, strength and unpredictability could help bring an end to the war. Where do you think this is going to go?
Yeah, Russia traded gas for North Korean soldiers, but can you imagine being North Korea and trading human beings for gas? Do you think Biden should have been harder on Russia than pussyfoot around it? Well, I think that what we did was, what we did good was all of the sanctions that we did on Russia, and all of the support that we did for Ukraine, all of the military and, economic aid. When you say harder on Russia, like what we should have been harder on is giving Ukraine more missiles, right? They've been working with the bare fucking minimum every time we ship them stuff. They've been working with the bare minimum, and they're still able to hold off Russia, okay? Being a rump state? Do you mean Trump state? What do you mean by a rump state? Fuck Twitch with Dan Clancy. I mean, I have other reasons for hating Twitch, but that's where the majority of my audience is still. So we're going to continue streaming there until people decide to move over to the other platforms that we have, okay? Subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. Watch me on YouTube. When you're go to my videos, obviously, if you're watching on Twitch, I would never advocate for people to go and switch platforms while I'm live streaming, Also, permission to strike into Russia, that too, yes. Yeah, I agree, internet gas. I think that, I don't think that Biden was scared of Russia necessarily, especially later on into the war, but the political situation in the United States made it impossible to send what we should have. But I do think that Biden could have been way fucking harsher on Republicans and shit like that. But would it have been effective? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think what will happen
I think if we went to total war from the beginning, it would have been over. I think what we should have done from the beginning is put troops in Ukraine before Russia invaded. Take some of our troops from Germany and just put them, in north and, take 500 troops, put 250 of them in the north and 250 of them in the east and say, hey, look, if you're just doing training stuff, you can do training stuff. That's what you're able to do on your side of the border. But if you come in here, we have troops here. And if you kill an American soldier, that could be seen as an act of war, Russia. And that would be really bad for you. You guys shouldn't do that, right? That's what we should have done. I have not heard any argument against that, literally at all. I haven't heard even a bad argument against that.
is that there are going to be efforts made by the new Trump administration to actually end the conflict, at least the hot phase of the conflict. Now, whether or not Russia plays ball is another question. If Russia does not agree to some kind of a ceasefire or at least a cessation of hostilities, then I could see the potential for the Trump administration to actually ramp up aid to the Ukrainians. In fact, Lieutenant General Kellogg, the special representative for Ukraine, has made such a statement. So if that does, in fact...
Really quick, Pokemon nerds, I need some help. Actually, no, no, because I have a redundancy. Okay, my Hariyama here is a redundancy. Even though I love Fat Boy and he's helped me out a lot, I need something new. All right. I don't know what to replace him with. All right. I'm going to keep playing the video. You guys give me some suggestions, please. Good God.
Happen, it could actually put more pressure on the Russians to end the war, or at least end their participation at the level that they're currently at. So if that happens, that could potentially end things where they are. I don't think Ukraine will be able to regain the territory that it has lost, about 20% or so of its country to the Russians since the February 2022 invasion. But if that is in fact, the course of events where there is a bit of a ceasefire, we may see a situation kind of like what we're seeing on the Korean Peninsula, where there is.
Biden might try some daring rescue in Yemen for like the you're talking about for the sailors that got captured by the Houthis. I mean, I wouldn't be against that, but I don't know if he will. I wouldn't be against it.
Is a de facto peace, but it is in fact still a state of war. That could be one possible outcome of this. There's a type of ceasefire, or at least an armistice, but no real resolution to the issue, and no movement of troops beyond what we see today.
All right, Colonel Cedric Layton, as always, thanks so much. Good to see you.
Ukrainian troops occupying parts of Russia's Kursk region have launched surprise counterattacks in response to increased pressure from Russian forces. Russia's defense ministry says those attacks are being repelled, but one Ukrainian military official says, quote, Russia is getting what it deserves. Meantime, Russia's military claims advances have been made in Ukraine's Donetsk region. Russian military blogger says fighters have raised a flag near a key Ukrainian transit hub. Ukraine's president is paving the way, at least trying to, for a good relationship with the incoming US president. Volodymyr Zelensky praised Donald Trump during a conversation with an American podcaster.
I think that President Trump not only has will, he has all these possibilities, and it's not just talk. I really count on him, and I think that our people really count on him.
And Zelensky says neither he nor anyone in Ukraine will accept an unjust compromise with the Russian President Vladimir Putin.
The reality is that a compromise is needed in order to reach an agreement.
In your understanding, the fact that he is in jail after all the murders, he is not in jail assuming all the murders, and no one in the world is able to put him in his place, send him to prison. Do you think this is a small compromise?
This is not a small compromise, and to forgive him will not be a small compromise.
To forgive, no one will forgive. This is absolutely impossible to forgive him. We cannot get into the head and soul of a person who lost their family. Nobody never will accept this. They simply took away the most precious thing from you, will you ask? Who ruined your life before going to rip their head off? I'm just curious. They took your child away. Are you going to ask who did this? And they will answer that dude did this. You will say, oh, well, then there are no questions. No, you will go hell and bite their head off. And it will be fair.
Okay. We'll watch this and we'll go back in tab order there.
This massive concert hall attack in Moscow, killing more than 100 people in March. their deadliest, claimed by their most active franchise, ISIS-K or ISKP, in Afghanistan. A month later, this bloody attack inside a Russian jail. 4 guards killed. A stabbing attack followed in Germany. They attacked in Afghanistan and Iran. Another of their estimated 10 franchises or provinces fought Nigerian troops.
We've seen a huge increase in tempo over the last year or two. In 2024, there were like 14 or 15 arrests related to the Islamic State in the U.S.
It's a far cry from 5 years ago, when ISIS appeared to be on the back foot. Their short-lived Iraq and Syrian caliphate beaten by US and coalition partners into a seeming surrender. But not anymore, according to MI5's intelligence chief.
After a few years of being pinned well back, they've resumed efforts to export terrorism. We and many European partners are detecting IS-connected activity in our homelands, which we're moving early to disrupt.
Taylor Swift and her Eras tour in Vienna, beneficiary of the heightened safeguarding. An ISIS-inspired plot forcing her to call off her show. What has changed, Zelin says, is that ISIS is centralizing, learning from its mistakes in Syria.
They integrated a lot of their provinces together under this general directorate of provinces. So there's a bit more coordination on the global level within its network.
In the Mideast, the ISIS brand is apparently still attracting supporters, like these 3 Omanis.
And the West is supporting ISIS takeover of Syria? What are you talking about? ISIS didn't win in Syria.
In one of many such ISIS propaganda videos the terror group posts. Their bloody bounce back began several years ago, gaining temporary global attention, killing 13 US troops as coalition forces pulled out of Afghanistan in 2021. But since then, most of ISIS's recovery has not sparked massive global attention. 2025 might be the year that changes.
If they can do something in the US, if they can do something in Europe, if they can do something in Russia, Turkey, Iran, Central Asia, if they can do it, they'll do it, because for them, it's a global war.
And success for ISIS in this context could be as simple as an attacker like Shamsuddin Jabbar claiming, as he has, to have acted in ISIS's name when he may not have had any physical contact or support from them. Nick Robertson, CNN, London.
With us now is CNN national security analyst and host of the In Room podcast, Peter Bergen. Peter, great to see you. So many, in the West thought that ISIS had been defeated. So how are they or its influence enjoying this resurgence?
Well, Fred, a few points. One, the most virulent affiliate is ISIS-K, which is based in Afghanistan, which of course is now controlled by the Taliban. And while the Taliban have been occasionally fighting ISIS-K, the Taliban have been, according to the UN, there are 20 terrorist organizations that are based there now. So whether the Taliban has the capacity or the inclination to go after these terrorist groups is an open question. So I think one factor is the fact that the Taliban are now back in power in Afghanistan. And now you have a formerly affiliated with Al-Qaeda terrorist group that now controls Syria. And there's some debate about how they changed their spots or not. But the fact is some ISIS prisoners were let go when the Assad regime was toppled. And secondarily, there are a bunch of camps and prisons that are containing ISIS prisoners in northeastern Syria, which people are concerned may come under attack, and there may be more prisoner releases. So some of this is to do with circumstances in the Middle East, and some of this is to do with the fact we still don't know the precise motivations of the New Orleans attacker. He obviously had a very troubled personal history. And he may have been shopping around for an ideology that allowed him to do what he did. But ISIS remains.
It seems like that probably is the case for the guy that did the New Orleans attack. Because when you look at my understanding is, and I haven't read a single article on this, okay? I've seen headlines, all right? Because I've been touching grass, breaking ribs on the mountain, skiing, et cetera, et cetera. But my understanding is he was originally going to kill his wife and daughter and then kill himself. But he decided not to do that, and instead he went into doing a terrorist attack from ISIS, inspired by ISIS. What's super weird about that is usually when someone decides to do some kind of killing, they don't usually, go from being a family annihilator to being drive a truck into a busy street and then start shooting people type criminal. Like, this is a very different psychology for that guy. So I don't know if the ISIS part was really that important to him, or if he just needed an excuse to go out and kill people. Is there any more information that's come out about why he decided to do what he did, or was he captured alive, or was he killed? Let me see here. Well, actually, you know what? No, that's the Las Vegas one. New Orleans truck attack. Died in a shootout with police. Got it.
A revolutionary ideology that losers like the New Orleans attacker or others, and we've seen that in the United States before, can attach themselves to, and in their own minds they become a hero in their own story, even though their own lives are usually going nowhere fast.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this truck attacker Jabbar did post a video saying he was inspired by ISIS, but as we have reported, ISIS is not necessarily saying that they've are claiming responsibility or even had an affiliation with that person. However, what do you glean from his approach? I mean, this use of a vehicle to cause mass carnage as he did, the planning. I mean, some of his tactics do mirror things that ISIS-inspired attacks also claim to have hallmarks of.
Sure, and his sort of personality and what he did reminds me of another so-called soldier of ISIS, which was Omar Mateen, who sort of shopped around for ideologies. At one point he flirted with Al-Qaeda and then Hezbollah, then ISIS. These are groups that often don't agree with each other. And he'd come to the attention of the FBI. He killed 49 people at a gay nightclub in Orlando in 2016. He also said, as he was carrying out the attack, that he was a soldier of ISIS. There was no evidence that Omar Mateen, who was an American citizen born in Queens, New York, had any real connection to ISIS other than self-proclaimed. My guess is that's what we'll see in New Orleans. We're still, obviously, we had a press conference today. The FBI is still trying to sort out some of this. But, he wouldn't be the first person who proclaims himself to be a soldier of ISIS who has really nothing to do with the group. Certainly doesn't appear to have traveled to Syria or Iraq or other places where ISIS has camps.
Would there be any gain from ISIS?
Did this article, were they just referencing a specific article? Which article are you talking about?
Mass carnage as he did, the planning. I mean, some of his tactics do mirror things that ISIS-inspired attacks also claim to have hallmarks of.
Sure, and his sort of personality and what he did. He killed 49 people at a gay nightclub in Orlando in 2016. He also said, as he was carrying out the attack, that he was a soldier of ISIS. There was no evidence that Omar Mateen, who was an American citizen born in Queens, New York, had any real connection to ISIS other than self-proclaimed. My guess is that's what we'll see in New Orleans. We're still, obviously, we had a press conference today. The FBI is still trying to sort out some of this. But, he wouldn't be the first person who proclaims himself to be a soldier of ISIS who has really nothing to do with the group. Certainly doesn't appear to have traveled to Syria or Iraq or other places where ISIS has camps.
Would there be any gain from ISIS claiming some responsibility or affiliation, even by someone who says, they have pledged their allegiance to the group?
Yeah, I think the short answer is yes. But the ISIS Central is, they are obviously they've lost their geographical center in Syria and Iraq. They may have other things on their mind, but often these groups will sort of take responsibility. If somebody claims responsibility in the name of ISIS, they themselves will sort of say, yes, we inspired this, or we helped activate this person.
How do you see intelligence, U.S. intelligence or law enforcement preparing itself, bracing itself for others who carry out horrible deeds and claim their affiliation or their allegiance to a group like ISIS?
Well, in the case of the New Orleans attacker, we now know that fairly definitively that he had no help. So that kind of person is hard to stop because there's no one to confide in, there's no communications that can be intercepted, or it's just a lot harder to stop. I mean, we saw that in the previous administration, an Uzbek American killed 8 people in Manhattan in a vehicle ramming early on in the Trump administration. So, unfortunately, this is something that we've seen before. Unfortunately, it's likely to happen again. You don't need any special training to rent or buy a vehicle and then carry out this kind of attack.
All right, we're almost through all of the videos that we're going to go over today. If you guys want to start linking stuff in chat for us to just kind of hang out and go over and chill, et cetera, feel free. All right. Also, I haven't done any shilling this entire stream. Isn't that crazy? Guess what's about to change? Me not doing any shilling. We're about to shill. If you guys... Oh, wait, hold on. That's the wrong one. If you guys haven't already, please join the Discord. Here is the link right there. I'm going to have more time to do stuff here in a little bit. Here is the Discord for people in Twitch chat. Here is the YouTube link right there. All right. And everyone subscribe to the YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. It helps me out a whole bunch. I'm likely going to have a lot more time to stream in the new year. I'm not going to be ultra fucking poor. So, we'll be able to actually sit down and do streaming and have ADD medicine and be able to concentrate, et cetera, et cetera. I'm thinking about doing a bunch of, I think one of my New Year's resolutions is going to be, I have all these games back here. Okay. I have all these games back here and I have beaten one. Off the top of my head, I have beaten exactly one. Nope, there's 2. Both of them Zelda games. Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past. So something that I think I'm going to do in the new year is I'm going to beat Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 by, playing through some of the old cartridges and using the Pokemon from there. So that seems fun. Seems like something people might like. And we'll be playing those on stream. I'm going to try and beat at least 10 of my old fucking, Nintendo 64 and Super Nintendo games. So probably Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, Chrono Trigger, shit like that. Maybe Super Metroid. We'll figure it out. Do that. I also got a laptop for Christmas. So if you guys subscribe, I'll probably, if we start getting more views like we had been, we'll probably try and do some shit outside of the house. That just depends on what happens, but we'll have to see, Do you think you're going to focus on politics still or gear your content more towards gaming? I don't know what I'm going to do. I was talking about this a little bit at the beginning of stream. No, wait, hold on. I wasn't talking about this at the beginning of stream. I was talking about this in Wix server. I'm a little bit black-pilled on politics. And I don't find as much joy going through, old, people that I used to watch on a regular basis. I don't watch as much Destiny as I used to. I certainly don't watch any Vosh. The political content rigmarole is something I want to continue to do, but we got to find a way that makes me enjoy doing it still. So we're going to be playing some games. I'm finishing my degree in political science. So if we're able to, actually do something with that, that would be great. But we're going to definitely still be doing political stuff. But we're gonna be finding some more stuff. I haven't even thought about Vosh for such a long time. True though. Poli sci, ha ha ha. Listen, It's been a well-known fact on my stream for a long time. So, and I'm in the right city for it now. So, anyways, so yeah, subscribe to the YouTube, like the stream if you're watching on YouTube, etc., etc. You had no idea? Dude, I talk about it all the time. I'm a political science student, all right? I've changed my major 7 times over the course of my life, which is why I'm still in college, okay? So I am finishing my degree, hopefully in the next year and a half at most. And then we'll see if what I really want to do is because there is like this really big push. I've always wanted to do something to do with broadcasting, but it's like very obviously like you either make it or you don't, right? And it's a very, very small amount of people who make it and are able to do this full time. I've always, I've had YouTube channels for years. I had a D&D live stream that I did with some internet friends. We did it all in person and we did it live. I did a very, very short-lived Let's Play channel. And so like, I've always liked the idea of doing something YouTube related or broadcasting. Like I wanted to go into like radio broadcasting, but like Corey is saying, radio is dead. So like there's like, there's tons of opportunities coming up on YouTube and on internet broadcasting stuff. I would like to put the degree and the thing that I like to do together in some way. So I don't know exactly. I know that the Democrats are almost certainly going to be at least trying to do something in the internet space, the broadcasting space, but I don't know what they want or anything like that. So, don't know, like, man, the content space that we're in has like gotten so different that I'm worried about saying literally anything about moves that I've made in my personal life. Not because I'm worried that people are going to dox me or something, just because like I don't know how people would react to like literally anything that I say that I'm thinking about doing career-wise. But anyways, I've shot a couple of messages out to people trying to like do broadcasting and stuff in this. I should start streaming. Well, hey, I've helped a lot of people get set up. If you need help getting set up, just shoot me a DM. It is not hard to stream. You can stream from a potato quality microphone and still get viewers. All right. It is fun to stream. That's why I continue to do it. I do not make very much money off of this at all. All right. I do this for the love of the fucking game. Okay. But anyway, join the Discord, hit the thumbs up on the announcements so that you guys get notifications for when I go live, et cetera, et cetera. If you're on YouTube, then ring the fucking bell so you get notifications when I go live. Also, if you're watching on YouTube Shorts, check this shit out. Boing. Uh-oh. What's this? Is this a full-size stream of Sondsol? That's right. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can actually see me not in a vertical format. You can see me in a horizontal format, which is much better. All right. So go ahead and try that out, especially, man, I can't say that on Twitch, but if you go to my Discord, I will encourage you to do something that I can't encourage you to do on Twitch, but I can encourage you to do on YouTube. So join the Discord. Alrighty. What were we watching? New details in the Las Vegas Cybertruck explosion. Sealing my shorts viewer. Listen, I'm not doing anything controversial enough today for the shorts stream to like blow up today, okay? When I get my A to D medicine in the next week, then we'll talk, okay? Then we'll talk.
Officials in Vegas talking now about this.
Also, did y'all guys see the video of this Cybertruck exploding? Because the first time I saw it, I thought it was an AI generated video. The Cybertruck explosion.
Officials
Wait,
in
what the fuck? Cyber truck explosion. We need phone number and non-stop debates. Yeah, debates are easier to pull when I'm medicated. Okay. Where is the video? Can someone fucking find me the video of the Cybertruck? Here, one second. Let me go to X. Cyber truck explosion. Media. Like, this shit doesn't look real.
Copy.
Like, that shit's fucking insane.
Copy.
Elon hasn't censored it? Nope, he hasn't censored this. He censored all those groypers. But, like, this right here is fucking crazy. The dude filled his Cybertruck with, like, fuel canisters and fireworks. And I think he also had some rifles in there, but I'm not sure. Oh, he shot himself before the explosion. There you go. But, like, yeah, like, that shit's fucking wild. That shit's fucking crazy that this is how the explosion went down. Because when I heard explosion, I was thinking of, like, let's go to YouTube. Tesla fire. Like, you see these.
Tesla is investigating this fiery explosion in Shanghai. It appears to show a Model S bursting into flames in a parking lot in that city. No
bursting into
injuries reported.
flames.
Tesla did not confirm any of those details, but it did send a team to the site and is working with Chinese authorities in the investigation.
Bursting into flames, but exploding like that? Nah, dude. Nah, dude. Wait, is there like a video of it starting the fire? Damn it.
You got to see this. There's a Tesla owner who's been stuck with a fiery mess after his car day. Take a look. It happened in Los Gatos yesterday.
Like, you see lots of videos of this shit, right? You see lots of videos of this shit, but you don't see, boom, like camera shaking explosions, you know? Like, you just don't see that shit. So, like, it's just fucking crazy. Okay, I accidentally just minimized every window that I had open on my computer, so let's go ahead and fix that real quick. All right. Let's keep going.
Cybertruck attack there at the Trump Hotel. Let's listen in.
As many of you went to sleep last night, and I just want to give you an update on a lot of what it is that we found through the processing of the Cybertruck. This is a joint investigation involving the FBI, the ATF, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and these folks worked through the night and found a lot of stuff that is very useful for this investigation. As you look at this Cybertruck here, we had to transport this down to our fleet services so that we could really get through this thing. And I remind you that the subject inside wasn't able to be removed for a very long period of time because he was burnt beyond recognition. And so as we continue to move through this, I'm going to talk a little bit about his identity and what we believe, but I would like to highlight a couple of things that the teams found inside of the Cybertruck that are useful to the investigation. And that, first and foremost, is a military identification. We also found a passport. We found a Desert Eagle 50 caliber.
Wait, hold on. That is crazy that they were able to pull out anything from that fire.
That, first and foremost, is a military identification. We also found a passport. We found a Desert Eagle 50 caliber.
For some, and this is just I guess the way my brain works, I find it not less believable. I find it crazier that they were able to pull out a fucking driver's license and a passport out of the wreckage of this vehicle. I find that less likely than them finding the passports of the guys who hijacked the planes on 9/11. Like, that shit's fucking insane to me. Like, it's pretty crazy they found the 9/11 hijackers' passports, right? But like, there's not an immediate fire that would necessarily engulf the entirety of every single thing in the plane, right? Like, there's going to be, you know, the force from it hitting, and then it's going to blow out the other side. There's going to be some flames, but not everything's going to catch on fire necessarily, right? Then you have the Cybertruck where the entire thing is engulfed in flames after, like, with like fuel canisters in it. It's such a smaller scale, right? And something like this survived. That's crazy.
We found a Desert Eagle 50 caliber semi-automatic pistol. And if you'll notice on a lot of these guns that we're going to talk about here, they're almost just burnt beyond recognition as well. There's a SLR model B30 semi-automatic firearm, number of fireworks that were still in the vehicle that had to be removed. Notably, we found an iPhone and a smartwatch, and then several credit cards were also in the name of our subject. Our subject is 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger. He's of Colorado Springs, Colorado, born July 22nd of 1987. Now, as you'll see here on a picture of his driver's license, let's see, the question really still remains for me, and I know that there's a lot of you folks in the media that are identifying this person as the person in our vehicle. As I mentioned to you already, his body is burnt beyond recognition, and I do still not have confirmation 100% that that is the individual that was inside of our vehicle. And so as I'm calling it now, the subject or person of interest, I will not come back until I have the confirmation through DNA or medical records that this is indeed, in fact, the subject inside of the vehicle. Now, further complicating this identification of this individual, we also discovered through the coroner's office that the individual had sustained a gunshot wound to the head prior to the detonation of the vehicle. One of the handguns was found at his feet inside of the vehicle. Obviously, in how we're trying to identify him, and I'm feeling comfortable to give you this information, is a tremendous amount of substantial evidence to include he rented the Turo vehicle. There are 2 tattoos, one of which was on the stomach and one of which is on the arm, that we can see bits and pieces of it as in comparison to what it is that we now know he had on his body. That has given us a lot of confidence that this is, in fact, the same person, as well as the clearly obvious, which is the credit cards, the military identification, the passport. And then furthermore, as you'll see here in just a very short period of time, we tracked his movements from Colorado to Las Vegas, and in a number of the photographs that we were able to determine, he was the individual that was driving the vehicle. And also, I'd like to iterate this point to you. We still have only ever seen him in this vehicle, and we're not aware of any other subjects involved in this particular case. Now, I would like to acknowledge a couple of things because I know what's going on in the social media world, and there are a number of things in this case that are similar to the attack in New Orleans. We do know that our subject here served in the military. In fact, he's a current member of the military. Both of the subjects served at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. What we do know about that is it's a very large military base, and we have no record that they served in the same unit or even at the same years at Fort Bragg, something that continues to remain under investigation. I also know that they both served in Afghanistan in 2009. We don't have any evidence that they were in the same province in Afghanistan, the same location, or the same unit. Again, something else that remains under investigation. And we also know, of course, that they both used the rental company Turo to rent their vehicles. As far as his military background, it's been confirmed by DOD.
I can't believe that there is a rental service, an Airbnb for your car. That is fucking crazy. why the fuck would you ever sign up for that? I understand why it might be convenient for like the consumer side, but for the person who's renting out their car to a stranger, why the fuck would you ever do that? That is insane to me that you would do that.
That he was indeed in the United States Army. He was also a Green Beret operations sergeant who spent most of his time at Fort Carson, Colorado, and in Germany. He was on approved leave from Germany, where he was serving with the 10th Special Forces Group. He was also previously in the National Guard and the Army Reserve. I'd like to point out to you that through exceptional joint investigative effort, we've gotten to a place where we believe we can show you his route to Las Vegas from Colorado, and Carlos will put up the map there for you. And we know that he rented the Cybertruck in Denver on December 28th. We tracked his movements through the Tesla charging stations to Monument, Colorado on December 30th. On the 31st of December, the truck was charged in Trinidad, Colorado, Las Vegas,
Yeah,
Mexico,
and then imagine...
and Albuquerque.
Imagine getting your car back after it was used in a fucking terrorist attack, dude. Like, what do you even do at that point, dude? What do you even fucking do? Try and sell the car to some, like, collector of, like, crazy shit? I don't know. Like, what do you even do at that point?
And Gallup, New Mexico. On January 1st, the truck was charged in Holbrook, Flagstaff, and Kingman, Arizona. We last tracked the truck in Kingman at 05:33 yesterday morning. The truck was first spotted in Las Vegas.
Insurance covers it? Do you think insurance is going to pay for a whole new car? Or do you think that they'll pay for the damage to the car and then you get the car back? I genuinely don't know the answer to that one.
Las Vegas at 7:29 a.m. yesterday. And Carlos will pull up a picture of the truck pulling onto Fashion Show Drive here. And that picture was observed at about 7:34 a.m. We know that he pulled into the Trump Valet. And I believe we have a video of that. You can see the Cybertruck highlighted there. So through extensive surveillance video, we were able to track him leaving there, and we know that he went to several different places along Las Vegas Boulevard, and he spent some time in a parking lot of a business near Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard. We didn't have a video of the truck pulling back onto Las Vegas Boulevard from the sands. See that there?
Why are we seeing all of this? Is it relevant? Is it important?
Where he then immediately heads to the Trump Hotel, pulls into the valet area, and as of course you all know, the explosion occurs within 17 seconds of his arrival at the valet. There's some additional investigative updates that are going to be provided to you by a couple of the other speakers here, the first of which will be our special agent in charge of the FBI local office, Spencer Evans. Spencer?
Good morning. My name is Spencer Evans. I'm the special agent in charge of the FBI's Las Vegas division. As the sheriff mentioned, we've been working through the night with our partners, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and other agencies, to gather all the facts and determine a motive to what was initially reported to the FBI as a bombing incident, to which our special agent bomb techs and others responded. Obviously, we're always concerned in these sorts of events to ascertain what the motive is. We understand that's everybody's at the forefront of everyone's thoughts. And so looking into exactly what the motivation is remains our number one priority. This is why the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force has been brought into play. The Joint Terrorism Task Force, most important part of that acronym is joint. It is done in concert with our partners, which are comprised of more than a dozen investigative agencies here throughout the state of Nevada. We've been working hand in glove side by side, tirelessly to determine is there any ongoing threat to the public, to identify the subject, to determine any potential connection to other events going on in the world, most notably in New Orleans, and then obviously to determine if there's anything else that we need to be tracking down. At this time, as the sheriff's pointed out, we feel that the subject has been identified, although not conclusively, waiting for DNA evidence on that front. However, we do feel like we have the subject identified, and at this time there is no information about additional subjects that the FBI is tracking on. Our resources, as I mentioned, that have been deployed in support of this event include Special Agent Bomb Techs, our evidence response team, which is processing crime scenes, side by side with the forensics folks from Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, our investigators, our intelligence analysts, and then outside of the FBI Las Vegas field office, we have investigative leads that are being conducted by FBI field offices, both internationally and domestically as well. As always, when the FBI is involved with any sort of case like this, we ask for help for the public. Anyone with information related to this incident, we encourage you to please call 1-800-CALL-FBI, or you can submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. We've already received thousands of tips related to this incident. The challenge that we face moving forward is to separate those that are pertinent and relevant and those that can be verified for those from those that have not. For example, one of the tips that we received just today relates to information alluding to this subject's personal experiences related to his time and activity in the military. Again, that's unverified and uncorroborated, but one of many tips and leads that we will be following up in the days that come.
All right. Anything else that we should go over today? Let's see. Anything popping up on my thing here? Imagine dying in a Rockets beat the Lakers. Well, hold on. My Rockets beat the Lakers? Wait, was that the... I don't know shit, okay? I don't know shit about the NBA. I don't know anything about basketball. But the Rockets are my home team, and therefore, anything good that happens for them is good for me. All right? I know a lot about football. I know a lot about tennis. Nope, those are the two sports. Sorry. Oh, wait. S. Harting Pope. Sharding Pope. Is that who I think it is? Or are you a random person that just has a super? Yeah, you know who I am. Okay. Yeah. Tennis is peak Walt. Listen, my dad was like he was ranked in tennis in the US and still teaches tennis to this day. All right. I was the black sheep of the family who did not play tennis until my sophomore year or junior year of college or high school. John McEnroe good. He was really good. He did John McEnroe type shit where he just talked massive shit to people. To win. So, let me see here. 1 second. Let me see what this is.
Do you think you're better off alone? Do you think you're better off alone?
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. The fucking hamster with the bottle. All right, this right here, evergreen. It's evergreen, dude. It'll never get old to me. What's the rules on watching sports on stream? I have no clue because I don't do that ever, and I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to watch a Rockets game. I'm never going to watch any NFL, NBA, MMA, you name it. It's never going to be watched on my stream unless there's something really funny or really crazy that happens. I'm not a sports watching channel. All right. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. Not gonna lie, I think that the saxophone is probably the one instrument that I technically know how to play that I'll never be able to actually sit down and like learn how to play. I miss that shit so much. Oh man, it sounds so good. All right, I don't think that there's anything else I particularly want to go over today. Let's just see real quick. What's going on right here? Nope. No one I want to jump on and talk to. Alrighty, well, looks like we need more saxophones. I need a saxophone, okay? But I'm too poor to afford an instrument like that that I'm never going to be able to play, you know? One of the reasons Lost Boys is the best vampire movie, I don't know what you're talking about. Isn't this Elon's persona? I don't know. I didn't even notice that. We're moving on to this guy, okay? All right. Anyways, I'm ending stream. I love you guys very much. Oh yeah, really quick. Sam, did you hear that I broke my rib? Man, everything fucking hurts. How have I never seen Lost Boys? Lost Boys vampire movie. Yeah, I've never heard of this ever. Of course they look like that. Go watch it now? Nope, not going to. I'm probably going to do something different. All right, I love you guys. I'm going to catch you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.